really enjoyed it. They really enjoyed it, and I'm looking to maybe go more in that direction with GAB. But this group is a group of women I've worked with for 4 years, facilitated with for 4 years. So it was fun to do it with them, and I'm looking to sort of develop more in that area.
Wow. I bet you have lots to share with us too. Thanks, Angela. Okay, Greg, you're
Well, I have the good fortune to live in Mexico, but even more good fortune to be married to Alicia, Heather. So we've done 2 classes over the last months. I was trained earlier this year. And we now have another class going to begin in late September, which is looking good. And I've really appreciated watching the group's transformation. I've been involved in kind of human transformation over the course of my life, and to be able to observe this as a kind of a, I guess you could say, a collateral benefit. Again, saying that it's therapeutic and not therapy is one thing, but actually seeing transformation in people, of them turning kind of some, how can I put it, coarse stuff of their life into really good compost that things bloom out of. It was really quite an experience, and to see the groups become a community, that feeling of really allowing themselves to become vulnerable and to really speak the truth as they have lived it, has for me really been transformational, and I've really found a lot of gratitude.
thanks. Mute. And I can say it's been really nice to be able to teach with somebody else, to co-teach. It really brings a lot to the experience. Teresa, you're up.
I'm in Virginia, and I've been teaching for 10 years. And I also took the digital storytelling. I haven't taught the traditional GAB in a couple of years, but I have another one coming up this fall. I've been teaching a lot of different workshops and also working one-on-one clients. So yeah.
Great. Thanks, Teresa. Just so if people are wondering, I was trained as a digital storyteller with Common Language, and last year at the summit I spoke about it, and then there was a class offered. So that's why you're hearing references to it, because there are 4 people in it. And now actually Teresa missed saying she's now a trained facilitator like me as well, and Angie can speak for herself. So Liz, you're up. Yeah.
I began teaching guided autobiography, I think about 8 or 9 years ago. And I've taught at Mercy Center, which is a retreat center, and in Burlingame, and also through the Foster City Library, which has been a real gift. We started out, of course, in person, in about 2016, and when we had to go into Zoom, it's really meant that the class has really blossomed and attracts a lot of people who keeps coming. So that's wonderful. And I'm beginning, and I still teach through Mercy Center, which is once a month. And I've also worked with small groups of Sisters of Mercy, which is really interesting because they're, of course, like any religious community, they're aging, and their stories are so important. And it's so wonderful to get to be able to help them tell their stories.
Wow.
And then just recently, I'm realizing we have breakout groups and we have breakout leaders, and I'm trying to figure out a training program for them, because they haven't all taken the major, the course, although it would be nice if they all had. Anyway, that's something I'm trying to begin now. But I've enjoyed every bit of it. And now that I've retired from my other job, I'm doing more of GAB.
Wow, that's great, Liz. Sarah, you're next on my screen.
Hi. Well, I'm an odd one out here because I did not do GAB training before starting to teach it. I found James Beeren's book in 2004. I wanted to join a memoir writing group and I couldn't find one, but I found the book. And so I just read the book. I put signs up around town. When I had 10 people, I started my first GAB class.
Wow.
And it was such an amazing experience. I've kept it in my repertoire since.
Wow.
Noticing that there wasn't a lot of writing instruction, and that my background is journalism and creative writing. I developed my own curriculum, and so some years I would teach GAB, some years I would teach what I call Start Writing Your Life Story, that had more craft focus to it. But I've been teaching pretty much every year since 2004. And so I would say I've probably done more than 100 workshops, probably had more than 1,000 people pass through my life. And I'll say ditto to the person who said they've made good friends through GAB. It's hard sometimes to cross that line from teacher to friend. But I had a small group of women who, in the middle of one of our GAB sessions, said, "It sounds like we're all really starved for quality female friendship." And we just all looked at each other and said, "You know what? We're just going to continue after this class. And Sarah, we're going to let you step out of the teacher role." It was a beautiful thing.
Wow.
So fast forward 2015, I met Cheryl. I was aware of guided autobiography as an institution through my membership and leadership in the Association of Personal Historians. But Cheryl and I have been working more closely since we met in person in 2015. And then I finally took the training because I wanted to see what this experience was with Heidi and Sherry in, I think it was the beginning of 2023. So delighted to be here, delighted to be part of such an
Wow.
amazing community.
It's so interesting to get to hear these backgrounds, and I'm already seeing how we can tap into each other's knowledge base. Thanks,
Yeah, I
Sarah.
should also mention that I teach the Find Your Students, Fill Your
Yeah,
Classes course. Yeah.
that's a good, yeah, I've been very interested to learn more about that for sure. Thanks, Sarah. Angie, you're up.
Okay. Let's see. So I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and I just finished the course spring of 2024. And then I've done the digital storytelling class and the training. I've also done the fill your class. And similar to Teresa, we're both from the photo managers as well. So I have that as a background. So I am now working on doing GAB classes fairly regularly. I'm excited to do my first in-person stuff this fall. I've got 3 booked this fall. So I'm really excited because I feel like that's going to be a very different,
Mm-hmm.
A very different setup anyway. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. And so I'm just kind of jumping in with both feet and enjoying it immensely.
You really do. I know that. Martha, welcome. Can't hear you, but you're not muted. Oh, now you're muted. Uh-oh. Try talking? Nope. You might have to check your system settings. I'll come back to you. Play around and see if you can adjust your internal mic. Jenny, can I get you to introduce yourself? You're muted still. It should be at the bottom of your, oh, there you
There
are.
we go.
You're good. There you go.
Yeah, I was trying the unmute and it just wasn't working. So
Oh, dear.
I stumbled upon GAB in 2020 when I was wanting to get my mother-in-law's stories down in writing.
Mm-hmm.
She had a very different, kind of difficult childhood, but she ended up being an extremely resilient, independent woman. At 18, she moved out, and when most women were getting married or dating, she was going to college in the early 50s, and she moved to Cincinnati all on her own. She moved to Ohio, then she moved to San Francisco. So for the upbringing she had, which was horrible, she was a very resilient woman. So that's how I stumbled upon GAB, wanting to get those stories in writing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I taught only one class
Mm-hmm.
I realized I just didn't really have time since I still do grant writing part-time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've joined, I'm Sacramento, California, by the way, but I've joined the Sacramento State Renaissance Society. So now I am looking at possibly um, teaching maybe some classes, but also maybe more in a workshop format. So I'm kind of here for
Live.
ideas on that. Yes, live. Yes.
Great. Well, happy to have you here and hopefully you walk away with some inspiration.
Thank you.
Hi, Mickey. You want to unmute and oh,
Hi. I think I started out with Cheryl around 2011. Um, Taught a bunch of classes, and then right before COVID just kind of petered out. Three of those groups are still with me. They've been together for
wow.
11 years, and I just keep trying to come up with topics,
Wow.
but they don't want to leave each other.
Okay.
And I just started a new class for the first time in 5 years, a la COVID, and online. So it was my first time doing a whole new group on Zoom. So that was, but it went well. They're continuing on as well. And I'm in LA.
Great. And I know you have a specific question that we'll get to.
Okay.
Lady Rojas?
Oh, hello. I am in Quebec, in Canada, and
Uh-huh.
I took only two courses. So with Camila and Alicia in Spanish. So I enjoyed very much to listen to each of you. So I am a learner more than a teacher right
So
now.
you're not are you a GAB instructor or a GAB
No, I'm
student?
not.
Oh,
I
okay.
am. Yeah,
You like hanging, are you thinking of doing your training?
probably. Yeah,
Oh, great.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you'll get inspired today.
Sure.
Thanks for being here. Carolyn.
Welcome.
Okay. I'm Carolyn Young. I am in Evanston, Illinois, just north of Chicago, right near Northwestern. And I took the GAB orientation with Cheryl back in 2012.
Wow.
I, after a couple years, I began coordinating a memoir writing class, which doesn't necessarily follow GAB themes because our members, we do this as part of an aging in place village.
Mm,
And so the members are all typically in their mid 80s, even 90s.
wow.
And by that time, you're not likely to want to be told what to write. You have certain things on your mind, and it's better that you just get those down on paper than something somebody else tells you to write. So we
Interesting.
do that, and as one person says, write whatever floats your boat. So that's the way people write.
Oh, I
And
love all the different approaches. Yeah.
yeah, and we've had a couple different groups going. The first group initially got so that people were not keeping their themes limited. They would
Mhm.
write until, as one woman said, till her fingers got tired, which meant that she typed many, many things and were much too long. So she was hogging a lot of the sessions
Mm,
as well as her husband was.
mm-mm.
So I started another group and encouraged people to keep it to two pages, as GAB recommends, and that has been working quite well. The
Okay.
hard thing is that with the age of everybody, there are so many people who miss because of doctor's appointments
Right.
or funerals that they're going to,
Yeah.
or a visiting relative or whatever, but we keep going.
Good for you. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Martha, do you want to try again? Still can't hear you. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe a restart and come back on? That sometimes works. Okay. Hi, Bill. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Bill Bain. I live in Denver, Colorado. I have been trying to get hooked up with a beginner's class, but have not had any luck. I've kind of gone through the list of instructor. I haven't gone through it, but I've, selected different people to contact and have not had any luck yet in finding somebody who is starting a class. I hear from a lot of people who are interested in starting a class, but have not yet made the connection.
So you're looking to attend a GAB class online or in person?
Well, either one. I guess I'd prefer online,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's close enough, having it in person would work as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just one comment that I had, and
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm not out of place in saying this, but um, it seems like I hearing a lot about women-only groups, and I haven't heard anything about men-only groups or co-ed groups. I know there are some because some of the statements that people have made here so far have implied that they've been in a group with
Mm-hmm.
men and
Yeah.
women.
That's an
But-
interesting point. And maybe we can put that on the agenda to talk about it. So just so you understand, Bill, this will be a platform for new instructors or people interested in instructing to share their resources as teachers. So if you want to stay on and find out, or Heidi, I don't see that you have the chat enabled because I thought maybe if people had some upcoming Zoom classes, they could share them with Bill if he wanted to check those out. So Bill, yeah, go ahead, Heidi.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll see if I can enable the chat. I think that's something maybe I needed to do before I started the meeting. Yes, you're at the right place. This is a whole host of GAB instructors. So you're bound to find a class being offered in September.
Yeah. Yeah, I can, yeah, we can open it up and announce that when we finish going through. I just want to make sure everybody gets to introduce themselves. So Francis, do you want to go?
Yes, I keep getting kicked off the internet, so I might get kicked off.
It's that kind of day.
My name is Francis. I live half-time in Madison, Wisconsin, and half-time in a suburb of Chicago, Downers Grove. And I took my class from Cheryl about 12 years ago and took a refresher class, just like sat in on a refresher class. And I'm ready to be teaching again. I have probably just taught about 10 classes. My background is geriatric social work and hospice. And I'm really interested in what the people have been saying about the digital storytelling class. Because I'm half and half, it's hard for me to do in-person classes. So my ears are perked, and that's all.
Okay, thanks. Nancy, are you there? I don't see you, but I see your name. Okay, we'll go on to Karen. Come back to Nancy. Karen, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, I'm Karen Bovee. I live in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm not sure when I took the course. I think it was around 2016. Anyway, I started teaching some classes, both independent groups and through library. Excuse me. And started out in person, and then of course with COVID had to go online. I really was, I still prefer in person, but I was pleasantly surprised with how well the groups transitioned to online, how well it worked. And one thing I found interesting was I had a group, an independent group that several of them, say 3 and 3 of an independent group. 3 wanted to continue, 3 out of the library group. And I wasn't sure how that would go. But I knew them all and it seemed like it would be okay. And they ended up becoming a blended group. And several of them had to drop out for personal reasons. But they went on, I'm going to say we had probably, there would be little breaks in there because of vacations and things, but we went on for probably 100 sessions or there.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and it was a lot of work because as someone else
Yeah.
said earlier, you have to come up with topics, you have to come up with the little prompts to go along with the topics. But it was wonderful and it was challenging for me. And that and in fact, I had to have open heart surgery, and so I have plus I've moved. So it's been about 3 years that I have not been doing classes, but am hoping to start some new classes. But there are 2 of the women from that group that went on and on and on. And we've become friends. And we're going to get together, the 2 women, and my daughter has been bugging me saying, okay, you're helping other people do it. Are you doing it?
Oh, you're in
And
trouble.
yeah, the answer isn't the one she wanted to hear. So I think the 3 of us are going to, because they want to continue.
Oh, great. Well, Karen, I love to hear how many of you are doing multiple levels, and I'd love us to be able to dive into that. Let's just move on to Esperanza so everybody gets a chance. I know our timing is a bit off today, and hopefully we can run a little longer so we can get through everything. Thank you. Esperanza, welcome. Can you introduce yourself? Oh, she looks frozen. Okay, John, I'm going to move on to you. Okay. Lisa?
Yep. Can you
Lisa,
hear me?
I'm going to start with Lisa Fredericks because she's first up on my screen. Are you there, Lisa?
You hear me?
Oh, there you are. Okay, go ahead.
Hi. I am not actively teaching any classes right now, and I completed the training in 2020, just before COVID started. And COVID kind of sidetracked me. And then it was other issues that had come up with, caregiving for my mother and just one thing after another. But I really want to try to rekindle my desire to get in the arena and start forming some groups. And I'm here to listen and learn.
Great. I hope we totally inspire you, Lisa, like I said when we chatted or when we emailed. Other Lisa, do you want to go?
Sure. Can you hear me?
I can.
I'm just curious, did this meeting start at 7
So,
Eastern time? Because I tried to call in many times.
We had some technical difficulties and had to do a mass mailing with a new Zoom link. So this is why our timing is off. So
okay. So
thank you for your flexibility.
When did the meeting actually start? I'm just curious.
It's been kind of fluid because people have come in at different times because they only found out at different times. So usually it is a set time. So
in general, if something goes wrong technically, I just had nowhere to go. Like
we're gonna have a plan B for when things go wrong in the future. This was out of our hands.
Okay. So thank you. Yeah, so sort of similar to the other Lisa, I didn't take it as far back as she took it, but I took it
think 2 years ago, and I've been trying to do writing about my own life, and start to really think about writing a memoir, and have been working on that to some degree, but wanting to now start to, do classes. And there's a organization in town called Story House, which do all kinds of things about storytelling, but I'm thinking this would be a quite good
Great.
approach for there. So I
Well,
was more calling in and very excited to just kind of hear what other people had to say.
yeah, well, we're happy to have you, Lisa, and hopefully you leave feeling inspired tonight. Esperanza, can you hear me? Or anybody who hasn't, oh, Kimberly, I see you there. Kimberly, are you there? Okay, whoever wants to introduce themselves and hasn't, it's all gotten muddled for me. Unmute yourself and, okay, Mary, go for it.
Okay, I think it's on now. I'm Mary McKnight. I took GAB about 2016 myself in person. I was trained as an instructor during the pandemic online, so I took the class online. I've been teaching in churches every year.
Oh.
And this year, I'm really excited. My fall class, I'm hoping to have two congregations at the same time of different racial backgrounds. So that's my effort to figure out a little more of diversity. So
Great. Thanks, Mary. That sounds really interesting.
we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, unmute yourself if you want to introduce yourself and you haven't done so yet. Kimberly, I see you unmuted.
Yeah, hi, Heather. I think I heard you call me earlier. I'm sorry. I'm in a place that it will be too distracting to have on my camera, but great to see you. And I had the pleasure of training with Heather a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
last year, under the leadership of Heidi and Sherry, who I think is not here. And so over the past year, I have led a one-time, like 4-hour workshop where we just wrote once and shared, and then also a couple of online 4-week courses on Zoom, and a 3-week in-person. So kind of running the gamut. And I do have a October Zoom coming up, which will be 4 weeks. So looking forward to that, 4 Wednesday mornings from 10 to 12 Pacific. And so it's been a lot of getting a lot of experience, very new to it, but really enjoying it.
Great. Well, it's always nice to have you here, Kimberly. And just as a heads up, Kimberly's going to be doing our GAB chat in November around soul collage. So you don't want to miss that one.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to unmute and introduce themselves? Okay, I see nobody. So let's jump in and start sharing our treasures with each other. I want to start with asking, what other supplementary materials have you brought to your GAB classes that you're just bursting to share with us? Raise your hand and I will manage the who's going to unmute and talk. Nobody? Okay, I'm going to share one that Greg and I did last time. What we did, has anybody ever heard of the Desert Island Discs? Okay, look them up. It's with the BBC. It's a radio program that's been going since the 1950s. It's available as a podcast, and it's interviewing individuals, often famous, but not necessarily, about what they would do if they were dropped on a desert island, or what 8 songs would they choose if they were dropped on a desert island, and what luxury item they'd want to bring with them. And so something that we've brought into our GAB classes is inspiring people to start putting a playlist together, a life playlist. And so people just slowly accumulate the stories, the songs. And then one of the gals in our class, this last class, is from the UK, and she told us about the Desert Island Discs, and we got really excited. So everyone had to share their 8 songs with me before the end of the class. And then we ended the last class with the reading first. And then I was the DJ and we played everyone's clip of everyone's song. And they didn't know what order it was going to be. And then it would be, I'd start playing it. And then Angela would go, oh, that's my song. And I picked it because X, Y, Z. And it was so fun and so playful. People were crying, people were dancing, and people were singing along. And I can't recommend it enough. We will always do this moving forward. Sarah, I see you have your hand up. Is it related to this or the next topic?
I have a supplemental material I'll tell you about if you like.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Lower hand.
Oh,
So there's
here, let me just see if there's any questions about my desert island disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, Karen.
Is it disc that you're saying? Desert Island?
Yeah, like a CD, like the
Okay, right.
old-fashioned word. Yeah. And so basically I say to them, put it on Spotify, put it on YouTube, put it on Apple or Prime Music, or just make a Excel sheet and then send me the list. And then afterwards I shared the list with everybody. And they're so, I should have found a testimonial about it. But one of the women described it as it felt like it was taking their connection to a whole new level because they understood where the music came from and what inspired them. So it was a very, very moving experience for people. Any other questions about that? Okay, Sarah, go for it.
Well, it sounds like just a really fun way to end a class. I love that idea.
Yeah.
So my tip is for what you do in that first session, where for the second hour people don't have material to read and share it to each other, but you want to model what the experience is going to be like. So I use a very brief timed writing exercise that I call fact, memory, meaning. Excuse me. And I tell people, I'm going to give you a prompt, and then you're going to spend 1 minute just writing facts about a thing. Then you're going to spend 3 minutes writing the memory, the story of the thing. And the final minute will be meaning. Why is this story important? What kind of meaning does it hold for you? And usually the prompt I give them is, you have something on you that is important to you. Maybe something you're wearing, something you're carrying, something that's in your purse. Maybe it's your car keys because your car is important to you. It almost never fails to say, you have something on you that's important to you. The one time it almost failed, it was a pretty difficult group. It was that they weren't sure they trusted me. And there was a couple of guys who just sort of hung in the back of the room and they'd say like, nope, don't have anything important on me. You really nothing? Your car keys? Nope, I walked here. Okay, well, you two talk to each other at the back of the room and the rest of us will do the exercise. And I saw them talking to each other. So, the 5 minutes go by and we do a little check-in. What'd you write about? And then I say, okay, what were you talking about? They were comparing their tattoos. They had something on them that was important to them.
I love it. I love it.
So it gives you an opportunity to fill a little time, and then you have people go around, and if they're comfortable sharing it, they share it. If not, you just, how was that process for you? Do you like the pressure of a timed writing exercise or no? And it really works great. So.
I love that one. I've written it down. That's great. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, and I'm afraid I do have to leave at 7:30, so
do you?
I'll just say bye to everybody now and quietly creep away later.
Okay,
Thank you.
So what I want to say before you go, and anyone else who has to step out, is that who's on the forum? Who's on the Buren forum? Raise your hand or a digital hand, whatever. Okay. Does everyone know that it exists? Okay.
No.
So it's a great resource that we can use more. And I really want us to use it after tonight, very specifically with tonight. So one example is like I'll put on there the Desert Island discs. And I don't know if Sarah can take a few minutes and type that up, that prompt up. But I also did notice that we do already have a prompt list that people have put together. And I think, Sarah, you initiated that conversation in January. And there are a number of people that have included new prompts. Cheryl has one, 5 steps to face your fears of writing. Angie Turner put one on, weathering the storm, life during natural disasters and pandemics. Bonnie reminded us about a book called Uncovering Treasures That Matter. Helen put one up, a really cool one. I'm going to dive into our relationship with books. So do check out the forum and keep those topics in those topics. I think another really useful one, and that I'd like to open up at some point, is TED Talks. I don't know how many of you are using the TED Talks that were given, like Heidi and Sherry taught us a lot and provided a lot of TED Talks. And I'm getting a lot of positive feedback about the TED Talks that we do use. And I'm sure some of you have found new TED Talks to use as material between classes. But let's just end with, anybody have any other supplemental stuff that they're adding to their classes that they want to share? Yeah, Karen.
I start out each one with, I'll have just a quote. I'll have all those printed out for them, or send it to them to print out once you're online. But I'll have just a quote, something that's fun, something it might apply to the topic that they're writing about. It may not, but just they're just neat quotes about writing.
Oh,
and,
nice.
And what I found, and then after that, I will have something that an article or a part of an article or something that maybe a couple of paragraphs about going narrow and deep, or technique kind of stuff. And I keep my classes small so that I can know them and they can all know each other. So I will just have somebody read, the quote, and then a parts of the whatever it is that I put in about writing. And then I will come up with a topic, something that's just usually fun, but that you can write about quickly, briefly, but make it a whole thing. And I'm trying to think offhand, and of course I can't, of the kind of topic. But anyway, I'll say a time you embarrassed yourself, and I'll say 10 minutes, go. And they have 10 minutes to write, and it's sort of I've had a lot of feedback. It helps them because they have that time pressure. It helps them with their own writing outside of there to let go of that overthinking and just start writing.
That's great.
And so we've added that.
And so do you have like a growing list of quotes that you've gathered about writing?
I do.
That's great. Would you be willing to share any of those on the forum?
Absolutely. But you know what? I have a different computer, and it has to be on here, but I have to get with my nephew, who's
Okay.
my computer.
Your go-to guy. Okay, well, if you ever
Yeah.
want to share it, the forum is a really great place to
Yeah,
share. And
okay, I'm glad to know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. Jenny, what do you want to share with us?
All right. No, I just wanted to ask how we access the forum. Where is it?
The forum, you access it. Let me open it. So the Beeren Center, you would go to that website and you would see, it's a membership, $135 a year, I think. And you fill out the form and you pay, and then you have access to the forum, and you can look, put yourself on there on the locator map and stuff. And it's a great resource.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny. Heidi.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put a quick little note in here about something that I like to do with one of my extended classes. I mean, as most of us have experienced, people don't want to stop after class 1. And there's often a class 2, a class 3, and so on. And you're always,
I'm just blown away by how many people are doing that.
And the struggle always is coming up with new material, you can come up with prompts, but okay, what do we do to keep them motivated and provide new activities? And I have found the anthology to be an incredible tool. I do it in my course 3 classes. And one thing people often want is my writing good enough? How can I improve my craft of writing? So I've always thought that when we read stories, we learn about our own voice, we learn about our own craft. And so each week we have a theme and we have other topics, but on the side, what we do is I have an anthology booklet for everyone. We choose one story and everyone reads it, and we come back and we have like a 10-minute discussion the next week about what are the writing tools that you have found in this story that you might want to use. Was it great characters? Was it great setting? Was it great dialogue? What made this story be worthy of publication? So I thought it's a good way. People have really enjoyed it. Then they kind of finger through and read some of the other stories. So it's a great way to use the anthologies.
So you're saying the beer and anthologies that are put together. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. It's a short read. It's easy for discussing, and people love it. It's a great way to kind of give an injection of writing craft into your stories or into your class. But I wouldn't do this until people are very comfortable and familiar with the GAB process.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point. Thanks, Heidi.
Yeah.
Angie.
I was thinking I went to they called it a memory cafe.
Oh yeah, I met with a guy about that on Monday.
Yeah, and so I thought it was really interesting because they would pick either a theme or a decade or something like that, and they would present like a song or an event or a TV show and icons from that, that were related to either that decade or event or whatever thing, just as a stimulation for memories. And so I thought that was great, even just, every week just picking a new theme or a new decade as well, just, something to start with. It could just be one slide or one song or something, just to get the juices flowing. I thought that was a great idea.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we're gonna have him. I met with him on Monday. He reached out through Sarah, who's now gone, and we're gonna slot him in a future GAB Chat. He's a part of that. Other people? I know you all have lots of experience. I have a question for those of you that are talking about the advanced levels and stuff. How do you charge people and how do you format it? Is it 6 weeks, 5 weeks? Is it exactly the same format? How do you do it? Anybody answer that?
I've done it with 6-week chunks.
6-week chunks. Mickey, what about you?
We arrange each time we meet, we pick another date and we just go and we do it like every month. So
you do monthly groups?
I do, yeah. They want to meet every 4 to 5 weeks, and we just pick a date before we start reading the stories that were assigned the month before.
And Steam doesn't run out having a month between?
No, some of them initially thought that they couldn't meet any more than that. They like having it's like a book club or whatever. You only meet once a month. They seem to be very comfortable with that. And I charge $20 or $30 for the 2 hours, and it's really just to keep them kind of committed. And yeah, so we read the topic, we pick another date, and I collect a fee for that class.
Great. Who was it that said they'd done 100 class? Yeah, was it you, Mickey? And
100? No. 100? No.
100 prompts? Was it you, Karen?
Yeah, that was an approximation, but around that.
With the same group, 100.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. And are you like Mickey, you're charging as you go?
Pardon?
Are you like Mickey, you're charging as you go, or are they prepaying?
As I say, I just keep going with the 6-week.
Chunks, right.
Yeah.
You did say that. How do other people handle the second, third, etc. levels?
I did, Anna Williams, I'm sorry, I had some trouble getting in.
No
I
problem.
did a series at an arts a center that was sponsored by a church, and that went 6 weeks, and it pretty much followed the Baron's, suggestions on the themes. Um, I always in some of those groups try to have people do bring some pictures in and put something together by the end. It's not necessarily a hard book, but it's something printed out so that you can share it. It was like that time. That's been about 6 years ago. So it was like $60 to $70 for the 6 sessions, and then there was another more advanced session after that, so that actually I could get through most of the Baron's work in the 12 times.
Wow.
And but did have continuous courses where they went 12 weeks, and I had a very good attendance because once they started on something and heard other people, develop more of their stories as they went along, I think that kept them active and interested.
Mm-hmm. Is everybody doing 2-hour classes?
Doing what?
Yeah.
Those sessions were 2 hours that I did.
Oh,
Yeah, Greg and I didn't find 2 was enough, so we're doing 2.5. Um, is can I want to address Bill's question about, is there people here that have done only men, only women? We do both. But we just had a session that was only women, just because it seems women are more interested for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know if that's a general, I'm generalizing, or if it's a fact.
I have done co-ed classes. I'd say, yeah, I mean, not that many. It is mostly women that want to, but I've definitely had co-ed classes and they've gone very well. I'm in a writing class myself that's like a mini GAB type thing, and there's a handful of men in it, very participatory.
Yeah, and the men we had in our first group were so involved in it, and they were the most teary in our class. It was so sweet. And now I'm working one-to-one with one of those men to do a digital story. So just for people to understand, a digital story is actually taking a story, paring it down to 500, 600 words, and then the person records themselves reading it and then populates it with their own photos, and then a soundtrack's added. So the class that I did with Dr. Mike Lang in the beginning of the year with some of the people that are here, we actually took a GAP story, and the hope was to pare it down. And Greg and I have done one with his family story, and I did share it on the forum if you want to have a peek at what it looks like. It's very fun. It's kind of next level because it's in the person's voice. Who here has found some new TED Talks they want us to know about? Because I love supplementing class with TED Talks. Anybody?
How are you using it?
I send them an email after class with homework, what they're writing about, and the links to the TED Talks to watch between classes.
Is that pertaining to their topic, what they're writing
Yeah.
about?
So Heidi, do you want to talk about that? Because that's probably something that's been added to the training in more recent years, if I'm not mistaken.
That is something that Sherry put into the training. So if you've taken the instructor training with Sherry Coleman or myself, each theme has 1 or 2 TED Talks that go with it, and they're spot on. You know, some of them are funny, some of them are serious, some of them are just a plain story, and they're all basically, probably 9 to 12 minutes long. They're short bites, but very powerful. And, we get a lot of comments from people that, whoa, I think the one on money, there's a couple there. One is funny, one is serious, it just cuts straight to the chase. So I give that credit to Sherry Coleman. She has pulled a number of them together for each of the Buren themes in the original or in a first class.
Yeah, they're really, really
They're really spot
inspiring.
on.
Yeah. I have to say, Heidi, one of the women in our last class came back and said, that video pissed me off. I don't know. I think it was one of the money ones. I'm not sure. But it's like, well, it's optional to watch and it's to trigger conversation because we do start with a conversation.
That's not
to
a
watch
bad
the
thing.
video. Yeah.
It evoked an emotion, you know.
It did.
And that's okay. Good discussion starter. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So who is using TED Talks in their classes? Oh, really?
No,
It's just
but
Greg and
I'm
I?
going to.
And Mary, you're not? Or you are? Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted. You're still muted. Here, I can ask. If I'm going to send you an ask. Oh, there you go.
There we go. I think, yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
I just used the one that I got from Sherry and oh, I'm blanking out on it. It's on the aging process, and I've found people really love it. With the Vietnam lady. I'm just blanking out on her name. But I use that in the one on toward goals and
The goals and aspirations. Yeah.
right.
Jane Fonda, right?
Thank you.
That was Jane Fonda on the last chapter.
Third chapter.
Third act.
Third act.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's great. And I would actually love to get a list of ones to use to send them homework. I think that's a great stimulation.
Yeah. Well, I guess we have to ask Sherry if she's up for the task of listing them all. The other one that we always start is Brene Brown's one on vulnerability, because we really are expecting people to be super vulnerable by sharing their stories as they do.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi, do you want to talk about your other method of teaching or your other mode of teaching?
Absolutely. There's so many different ways that we can package GAB, and I, just hearing all of you talk, we've all done it in different ways. But one thing that we haven't talked much about is offering it as a retreat. So and some of you probably have done it like that, where you don't take the 6 weeks or the 8 weeks or the 4 weeks, but you put it all into 1 week. And this would be just a great thing to do when people want to get away. They want time to write. They want a concentrated time to really focus on writing, have communication and networking with other people. And a retreat is a great way to do that. And my first experience with the retreat was to Italy. We had a connection to someone who had a villa, and they invited us to come, and we ran two 1-week retreats there, and they were so successful and they were so fun. People just bonded immediately. There was instruction time, and then there was fun time, and then there was private writing time. It's a mix of all sorts of things, and it was a definite, we have to do this again. And because retreats are so effective and just fun for the instructor, but also so fun and motivating for the participant, we actually are in the process right now of putting together another retreat. Heather and Cheryl and myself will be leading a destination retreat to Mexico starting in March, or being held in March. And we're going to slowly reveal when registrations open and what the topics are going to be and what the theme is. So I thought one thing that's a good way to get the information out or to keep people in touch who are interested is to start a mailing list. So with that process in mind, we are going to start a mailing list for anyone interested in more information and being updated on the progress of our Mexico retreat.
So everybody has my email address. So if you wanted to send it to me, that's fine, because we don't have the chat in here to add that to it. But I think I think it's going to be a pretty fun experience. And if you know anybody that's looking for that type of experience, do let them know.
Right.
And we'll slowly, yeah, we'll have all the material together in the coming days or weeks.
But it's a great thing for you to try. I mean, it's a great thing for everyone to think about the potential or the possibilities of
hosting.
Of hosting
Yep.
a retreat. Yeah.
And I can tell you, I have done the same. I've held, because I'm also a photographer, so I've held photography retreats, women's photography retreats. Sorry, Bill. There's a specific one. And it's just such a lovely way to come together with other creatives when you're excited about something. I'm sorry to see that Mickey dropped off because she had asked specifically also about new handouts because she's still using the handouts from 10 years ago. Heidi, maybe in your role as board member, you might have some more information about that. Is the plan that we have access to the handouts at any given time?
There is a plan to have all handouts from the instructor training on the website.
Okay.
You know, that's on the list of things to do.
Okay, I thought
on the
so.
website is to access all handouts that they should be put up there.
Okay.
Part of the little difference right now is we have 2 instructor training teams, and not all the handouts are the same between the 2 of us. So,
right,
you know, we will, and we can probably put up both, but it's on that huge list of things
to
waiting to be
Okay.
done.
Yeah, because I could imagine someone 10 years ago might be with the training. I know there's a few of you in here are going, what? I didn't know about that. Oh, I want to have access to that. So it would be nice. And I think we need to do something like this more often because I think there are more and more resources that we gather as adult educators. Bill, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, talking about men's groups or whatever, for the last couple of years, have participated in a men's club in our local senior center. And let me tell you, there are no shortage of stories.
No.
Now, going from that to getting them to even think about writing them down, is another matter, and they'll need a lot of encouragement and support to do that. But and I would think if it could be a man-led group, it would be
Yes.
even better. But a co-ed led group could also work, I think. But men have a lot to say if they have the right encouragement and format.
I agree. And there's all the studies that are coming out about how lonely men are, and
Okay.
isolated they are. And I think we all know this would be a perfect cure to that.
Bill, I
I
think
agree.
perhaps you should consider becoming an instructor to
Yeah.
I
lead your
do
own
too.
groups. You seem to have an audience and a real feel for the benefits of story sharing. And, maybe if you take a class, you can see the benefits and then also, recognize that becoming an instructor just multiplies those benefits.
Now, could I do
Yeah.
that without taking the beginning class?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yes. Because you get the class in the instructor training. You
Okay.
go through the whole.
It's a combined,
Mhm.
you trained and you're writing and sharing. So
Okay.
you experience it, so you know what it's like for your students. So we've taken this 15 minutes over, but we started 20 minutes, half hour late. I don't know. I want to open up the floor and let you just, what's missing? What else do you want? Have you received anything useful tonight? Anything you want to say? Yeah, Karen.
Absolutely. Tonight has been very useful and it's triggered a lot of ideas that I would like to, develop further. But yeah, I think that having something like this is invaluable because I got away from teaching, but I really want to get back into it. And it was because of things going on in my life that got in the way. But it's hard to reconnect and get that confidence back because it's been a while since the training. So I love this.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you've been here tonight, Karen. I think there is so much we can learn from each other, and it's made all the difference for me to be able to connect with everyone every month.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Teresa.
I just have a quick question of everyone. I know some people mentioned they do 6 weeks. I heard someone say they do 4 weeks. What do most people? I normally do 6 weeks because I feel like any shorter, people are just getting into it and getting in bonding and things. I was just wondering how it works for people who do fewer weeks because I'm finding people are less willing to commit to 6 weeks now. People are just so busy.
Put up your fingers and tell Teresa how many weeks your classes are. 6, 7, 6. Okay. Yeah. As someone who's a perpetual student, I really don't like classes less than 6 weeks because I want to get deeper and more connected with the group. So for me, that's a personal preference. Lisa, you had a question?
Yeah, my question is about sort of in starting up. I'm wondering if people usually start by just doing a groups at some forum and then developing a website or whatever, or sort of like that initial putting together your, marketing
Yeah.
information, that kind of thing. So I'd love to hear what they found helpful or useful. And I have also found it very useful to listen to all the ideas tonight. I really enjoyed it. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Lisa. How many people here have a website and that's their main way of getting the word out there? Okay. Do not let not having a website stop you from teaching. Because when we opened up our first class, we had 4 registrants and it was like, oh, is it enough? And Cheryl said to me, no, you get your feet wet. You start with 4, it doesn't matter. So start with what you have and then just go because it has a life of its own. And that's what we're discovering. So what we're doing is Greg and I are just giving public talks. I did a Rotary talk yesterday. It's my second one this year. I have one with a church next month. And then there's a community center for expats here. We have one in October. We always have our brochures with us with what dates are coming up. We talk about it. And now all our students are talking about it. And the best experience I have, I can tell you, I was at the farmer's market and this woman comes up, she goes, you're the woman who teaches the classes. I want to come in your September class. Can I pay you now? And she hands me out. I know, I'm like, that probably will never replicate, but it was very fun. Yeah, just start teaching. That's what I would say.
What are your talks about sort of the value of,
Yeah, why our stories matter.
the benefits of it and why people do it, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and make sure you have stories in there. People are moved by the stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
What about other people? Anything you want to add to share with Lisa? I'm a new timer. There's some old timers in here. Karen, yeah.
I would like to ask you a question, like I'm not good at the promotion. In fact, I'm really bad at the promotion. So how do you go about, the only time I've done something like that was at the library before I offered classes there. And it was for them to sign to see how many people were interested, and we did get a good group that signed up from that. But I've never done it like you say, you're going out to other groups and things. Do you go to those groups and say, I would like to do this?
I pitch a topic. Yeah, they're looking for speakers. So, and then I've been approached as well. Like I was invited to both the Rotary meetings because somebody at Rotary had seen me speak at another one.
So how do you know who wants speakers?
Yeah, you have to get out there. You have to network, you talk, you find churches, you find libraries. Great idea. What about other people? What have you used? Angela, have you done anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I call them info sessions, where I can just, so I just tapped into the networks I have. So it's a
Yeah.
little, because I work with women leaders and stuff like that. So I did a mailing to them. Then someone approached me who has a home care organization to come, because they are looking, it's interesting. There are so many of these organizations that are looking for speakers. It sounds so crazy, but they are out there. But I think do the ones that are of interest to you, I guess.
Yeah. I also post about it every week on Facebook.
Also think about podcasts. There are people out there
Yeah.
who like
Yeah.
to do interviews for podcasts.
Right.
Like if you have a financial planner, kind of drop a little bug in their ear and say, hey,
That's a good
do you
idea.
want to, I work on helping people preserve life stories, and our financial planner did an interview with me on his podcast. But is there anybody you know that does a podcast, because they're always looking for speakers or people to interview? Just really have your ears open for opportunities that you find them in the places you least expect, an opportunity to share GAB.
Yeah. Write an article for the paper. Greg just did one and submitted it,
Yeah,
hoping
absolutely.
that gets picked up.
Or talk to a reporter who might want to do a feature article on you,
Yeah.
Maybe somebody wants to do, maybe there's a senior center that has a monthly bulletin or newsletter. Offer to be interviewed or to write a letter for that.
Thank
I
you.
had some experience with genealogical associations. They want to get their members to start writing, and a lot of people just don't have any idea, how to integrate what can just be a list of chronological dates into stories. And that worked very well because one of the libraries then had a nice space where we could meet, and they kind of sponsored it. It was a genealogical library, a specialized library.
That's a great idea, Anna.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna end this because I know it's getting late for some people. And
Stop
again,
the
thank you.
recording.
You're gonna stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop recording there.